Hello lovelies, Rodney Jack Fox here. Welcome back to part 2 of What If Deku Had Black Tezcatlipoca Artifacts. And I did mess up on the recording on the first one, which is bad. Well, sucks. Oh, hold on. Basically, when I said that this was a quirk, but I mainly messed that up because I wanted it to be something else instead of it a quirk. It basically is not a quirk, but they've written it down as a quirk. Basically, Deku is kind of like a god, as one What If said. Okay, so I messed up on another part. Basically, when Inko is yelling at the teachers in kindergarten, yes, the principal did say he could get fired to one of Deku's teachers, saying that he could get fired because he harmed a student for the first time. And this teacher actually did harm another person, but it was not his students. So the principal said, I could get you fired because you harm a student. And the principal and the teacher is like upset at Deku because he's putting his job on the line, like I said. And I did kind of mess up on some parts, but I'm gonna continue. And this part, Deku is in the middle school at the beginning of the anime. Basically, Deku is fighting. Well, there has been cases of the Black Tezcatlipoca, but it's mainly called the Black Illness, roaming around the city, and people have fallen ill to this illness, having parts of their body go into a blackish purplish shade of color. Basically, the body turns into like this dark shade of black. I forgot the color, but it's ultra black, maybe? I forgot. It's like a super dark black that it could not be. I said that wrong. Basically, it's the color black, but it's so dark that not even light could shine through it. Basically that. But at the edge of it, it has like a purple aura and it spreads. If it covers the entire body, the person dies. And it continues spreading, which is the bad part. And the doctors were trying to figure out a way where they could do this. As a boy with a monkey quirk with which looks like artifacts on his eyes, ears, and neck walks through. And this is like on news, and people are like telling him to stay back as Deku puts over a mattress, well, a coat over a person. Hold on. Deku put this like blanket quilt over this person and eggs while playing his guitar at the exact same time and trying to sing a song. But if you actually watch a video on the No Evil series, the main characters find their friend or a person in the village and they do the exact same thing, but several other characters, either Quetzalcoatl is the wind snake and he's the doctor of the group, and he like does the same thing that I'm saying that Deku does, puts a quilt over his friend and does crosses with an egg, like an egg that was recently given birth from a chicken, basically an unfertilized egg. As Deku does play his kind of banjo-ish guitar, as he does play it, as this blanket starts acting up, as the Black Tezcatlipoca is kind of seeping into the bowl, kind of, as Deku does finish, as the person slowly wakes up, as people are like cheering, as Deku grabs a bottle and pours the liquid into the bottle and capping it, making sure that it's locked away, and then putting it in his satchel as he gets the person's hand. As that person realizes Deku is wearing a mask, and then Deku takes the quilt and puts it in his satchel. As a news reporter comes to him and asks what's his name and is he a hero, like several news reporters tried to come out, as Deku just looks at her confusingly as the cameraman says, "Say something." As Deku just points at his, could kind of see it. Remember that I said Deku's covered in darkness and he only sees an outline of a person? That's basically what Deku sees. He sees two outlines of people and several in the back. And he sees the person doing a motion with his hand saying, "Say something." As Deku points out his ears and eyes and neck where the flower is blooming. And the thing is, these artifacts look like the consistency. As Deku pulls out a pencil and paper and writes something down, and he faces it towards the camera, and the reporter does read what it says out loud. "I'm sorry if I can't understand you completely. The thing is, I cannot see, hear, or speak anything. The only way I am able to connect with you is from the way of this illness. I cannot see well. I cannot hear well. If you're doing a hand sign, I suggest you do it in brittle or sign language." Actually, no, Deku does not say that, but he pulls out a board saying sign language or brittle. As the reporter does do a sign language, but is worried that Deku is not seeing, because the sign also says at the bottom, "cannot see." As Deku does do sign language back, and does speak to the reporter, saying that, as the reporter does say it out loud, saying that, "I am just a humble person, thinking that this illness should not be able to go to any other people since it was locked away thousands and thousands of years ago, and somehow broke out, and apparently I could help the people who are ill with this illness by the way of the ancients." And Deku's mainly speaking about these people who could heal people very quickly with this thing. As the reporter does do another bit of sign language, asking about the mask, the earpieces, and the neck thing, the flower. As Deku does do more sign language, as the reporter does continue saying, "I am not able to see, hear, or speak anything since I was cursed with the illness's backdraw of the ancient ones of the monkeys of see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. I have been cursed with these artifacts, and now I cannot see, hear, or speak. The only way I am understanding you is kind of a way of me looking around. Instead of me seeing colors, I see darkness with outlines of people. That's how I'm able to move around and walk. I cannot hear you, but if you move, do a language in sign language, basically doing the thing that the cameraman did, that means speak." That Deku says as to him. As Deku does say, when the cameraman did this, you guys can't see it, but maybe moving his hand over and over again, in a circle, but facing to the left, basically means, "Can you speak?" Well, I'm saying it's "Can you speak?" I don't know if it actually means something. As Deku says, that mainly means speak. I don't know if it's an actual language. I'm just staying on the exact same page. I'm sorry, guys. I can't speak. I can't see. I can't hear. I only see darkness and an outline of a person. Right now, I see thousands and thousands of outlines in pitch darkness. Well, in darkness. I'm sorry, but I have to go. May everyone please stay safe and watch for the boy who is after. As people are questioning, what does he mean by the boy who is after? As a person, and this was live, As Inko and several other people are like wondering, okay, what does this boy mean? And the reporter does more sign language, asking about what does he mean, the boy who's after. As Deku points at his artifact mask, his earpiece, and neck. As he does a few more sign language and also does the shh with putting one finger on his lips, saying that the reporter should stay quiet and not say. As the cameraman asks the reporter what did he say, and he says, he said he says he's after, as Deku does, and the reporter does feel like an eerie presence, and he looks back to Deku, and it does the exact same. Deku does the exact same thing. Shh. As he does more sign language, and it says, "Be quiet." He's hearing. If you guys couldn't hear me, Deku basically said, "Be quiet." He's hearing. As the reporter does get like a very scared look on her face, and if I said he, it's a she. As the reporter does say, he basically said to watch for the boy who's looking for something. He could not tell who it is, but knows for a fact this boy is after something. As the reporter tries to ask Deku for the description of the boy, but when the reporter turns around, Deku is gone. As Deku just literally runs through rooftops and just back at home. And Inko does get worried, and she does know sign language and brittle from Deku. So she does sign language, asking her son, asking who is the boy that he's looking for. Who's the boy who's after something, as the reporter said. As Deku explains to her the description of the boy, as well as drawing it out. A boy he doesn't see the color because he can't see color, it's all darkness. As Deku is saying he looks like this, as he does a rough sketch of a person with long hair and elf-like ears. Excuse me. As Deku is saying he's the one who should be feared in sign language. As Deku is a bit nervous, he's shaking, and Miss Inko Midoriya does put a meeting up with Principal Nezu, and Principal Nezu does learn sign language because he's the smartest being in the world. As Inko and Principal Nezu does put up a meeting with each other by themselves, and Inko asks if Deku could come in to UA, even though he's blind, deaf, and can't speak. As Principal Nezu said, that would be hard to try to beat for him, as well as for the teacher, since some don't know sign language or brittle. As she said, don't worry, he does know sign language and could teach people, which is good. Oh, guys, I'm gonna stop it here. Sorry.